Well, I've been a police officer for 16 years this November. And there were a couple moments where I even took like a day off. I'd asked my sergeant, I was like, man, last night, I was like, you mind if I take some vacation time? There was one time when I was undercover, and this drug dealer, he was just fascinated with Scarface, as they all are. And this guy had a connection with the military, and he had landmines. He had a grenade launcher sitting on his table. He had like assault rifles, 50 calibers. I mean, like something like you're about to go to war in Iraq. And I'm not gonna lie, I walked in there, I was like, oh my God. That was the first time when I was undercover that I was actually scared. I did my deal, but as I'm doing the deal, he's holding his 2-month-old son. I'm like, I can't believe I'm sitting here giving this guy money for drugs, helping him keep supplying drugs to people, and here he is. He's got an infant around all this stuff. And he's cooking it in his house, too, and those fumes, it can hurt the baby, And it's just like, I just wanted to break character and just place him under arrest right then, and it was like, it really messed with my mind a little bit. And, we did the deal. I walked out. Normally, we would get 2 deals before we go raid the house. I told Sarge, like, no, we're hitting the house now. That was like the first one, and then it wasn't too much longer after that. Carl Marshall in Dallas, we were doing a search warrant, and when they kicked the door in, the drug dealer's girlfriend, she claimed she didn't know what was going on, and she just started firing rounds, and it hit him in the neck. And he's a quadriplegic now. And it was like, my whole unit, we were feeling guilty about it because it was our search warrant, but Dallas PD did the raid for us because it was in their jurisdiction. And we all felt so guilty about it. We still had to finish the search warrant. Even after they rushed him to Parkland, we kept having to step over his blood as we're going in and out of the house. And it's like, ugh. He's got such good spirits about it, and we all went over there. We did chores, we were chopping trees. It was kind of like our way of saying, we're sorry, we want to make sure you're okay. It kind of helped us relieve some of the guilt. That was our resiliency. It was like, we're still doing something for him. Don't just get down in this hole and be depressed about it. Do something about it. And then the one major one outside of that was, there was a big bus accident on State Highway 161. It was filled with 42 senior citizens going to a casino trip. And the bus was completely tipped over, and none of these senior citizens had on seatbelts. And one, somehow she got ejected, and the bus landed on top of her, but there was something wedging to where she didn't get crushed, but her arm got cut off. We were able to, crew was able to get in there and put a tourniquet on it, but we couldn't get her from underneath there until the fire department got there with the crane. So we literally had to sit there and walk over her. She's looking up at us through this window, and we're having to look down at her, and oh, God, I just felt so guilty that I couldn't get her out. And she was in shock. She wasn't screaming or crying. She just looking up at us like this, and I'm telling her, I'm so sorry, and senior citizens, they're frail, so when you're picking them up, you can hear their bones popping. And that one, I think I had a little bit of PTSD with that one, because I had really bad dreams about it for probably about 3 or 4 days. But we had a chaplain at Irving, and I sat down and talked to him, and he showed me how to channel it with my prayers. He said, talk to it, talk about it with your coworkers, with your mom, with your dad. He said, don't keep it bottled up. And that helped out tremendously. And once I started doing that, I didn't have those bad dreams anymore. So I think the most important thing is to not keep it bottled up. If you need help, you need to tell somebody. Even if they're not your best friend or something, it's like just somebody a coworker, your mailman, somebody, but don't keep it bottled up. That's the worst thing you can do. For new officers coming on, I think the main worry when you're a rookie is looking soft. I don't want to look like a punk. I don't want to look like an idiot. I don't want to mess up. I'm supposed to be perfect. No, you're not perfect. You're a rookie. You know, you're learning. You're a baby cop. That's the best way to describe it. And get a good support system going with the other rookies. They're going through the same thing you're going through. And look for the field training officer, your FTO, that does provide a listening ear. There is always that one FTO that is just super cool and they're not going to judge you. Every department has that one FTO. Look to them for advice. And if you have a spouse or a significant other, don't keep it bottled up. Your spouse or your significant other, they want to know about what's going on. For the female officers, it's a whole different ballgame. One, we're in a male-dominated profession, so you got to be that alpha female. Not all of us are alpha females, you know, but just because you're not an alpha female doesn't mean that you can't go out there and do a great job as a female police officer. Don't think you got to be big, bad, and tough all the time, because if anything, I think me being a female officer is an advantage. When I go on domestic violence calls, I mean, I'm 5'9", 170 pounds, but I have this little bitty voice for some reason. My voice does not match my frame, but my voice is also what I've been told by suspects is it's more soothing than a male officer. You know, somebody with a deep voice barking at you and get down, you know, versus my little bitty voice, but I still have the authority. I can still get down with the best of them, but my granny would always say you get more bees with honey. And a female is going to be, it's just going to come off as more of the nurturing type versus the aggressor. So use that to your advantage when you can.